What's crackin', movie trivia Schmoedown fans? It's your boy C-Dub, and today we got another play-in match. We got the rookie James White making his debut, taking on Frank Moran. James White comes from the fan leagues, so I'm definitely going to be rooting for him in this match. But it should be an entertaining match to say the least, so let's get it started.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. The play-in matches have begun. The matches to figure out who will be part of that massive 32-person tournament. It continues. The factions are a-fighting. And I am Christian Harloff, joined, as always, by my partner in crime here, Stanley Goodspeed, a.k.a. Mark, the babyest of Carrots Ellis. Mark, this tournament was something that look. The singles ultimate Schmoedown was the birth of the Schmoedown in general. It started with a 16-person tournament. We've done 8-person tournaments. We have never done, essentially, with the play-in matches, 36, 38 people play. I don't know. There's a lot of people. I'll tell you that.
Carry the one, and then 7 more. Look, here's the bottom line with this, Christian, is that I know what you're doing right now, is that I, at one point in time, won a tournament that was the ultimate Schmoedown, and there was like, I don't know, 2 people in that tournament, and you keep increasing the field every year to bury me in history, and I will not be silent. But more to the point, with this tournament, I just got to tell you this. You look at a playing game, and you say, well, what are these 2 guys going to do? If they win, what are they going to do in the tournament? Need I bring up Andres Ace Cabrera and what he did in our Star Wars tournament? So as difficult as it is for me to choose between my 5 dress shirts and my 3 sport coats, it's even more difficult to make that run, but either one of these players could be capable of doing it.
Yeah, you know, and you bring up Andres Cabrera, and you can't leave out Winston Marshall inside of that because of what Swag has done in the tournament, right? And now you got another Swag match here with Frank Bam Bam Moran. Frank was a guy who I thought people were sleeping on. When you go back to see what Frank did in his one teams match that he had, and then in the free-for-all a couple seasons back, the guy was playing lights out. He stayed on the table longer than a lot, and I couldn't believe that he wasn't drafted. Winston Marshall came in during free agency, picked him up, and stuck him in the tournament. Now, the managers have had a very, very difficult choice of choosing 4 competitors they wanted to go into battle, and none could be truer than the Den. Now, the Den could have probably had 4 guaranteed spots if they put Ben Goddard in there. They have Rachel Silvestrini in there, Paul and Tom, but they chose to go with the rookie unknown, the Wizard, James White. They wanted to go with him and figure out why. Because he was drafted by Robert Meyer Burnett in the 2nd round of the draft, and that was because Burnett had heard some really great things about him, and there was this kind of lore about him in the fan leagues, but he put a lot of pressure on him by picking him in the 2nd round. Fast forward, the Den trades Brandon Hanna and gets this guy, and then they put him in the tournament. So, Mark, is the pressure on James White here because he's such a high pick in the draft?
Well, it's no slight to our lovely draft night award ceremony that all is nice hubbub and hype and hoopla, but at the end of the day, Christian, it's not playing in a match. And so while Frank Moran was at home washing his tights during the ceremony, James White was there. He was hanging out at the bar. He was high-fiving people. He was excited. He was riding the Bullet Saddle Ranch. But now you actually have to show why you were drafted that high. So Frank Moran can come in, steal a lot of that thunder. James White, look, I know he's a big Orioles fan, as am I. I would hope he fares better than our team has in the last 90 years, but we don't know that because his competition pretty darn stiff in a free agent pickup.
Yeah, and look, either one of these guys are going to have a tough go-around in the 1st round where they're going to play the winner of the Barbarian or Bibiani. But that being said, either one of these guys could become the next big star. These tournaments have built stars, and I'm excited to see it. And another person who was excited to see it was the great Nerd Chronic. And he's going to show you exactly how we got to be here right now.
Nerd Chronic!
Hello? Oh, hello? Who there?
This looks right, yeah? Okay, looks good. It's a good angle, right?
I'm back! There were some people that couldn't believe didn't get drafted. Couldn't believe it. This is another guy that I couldn't believe didn't get drafted, and I think it's also because of visibility.
This guy had a plan and a vision.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go with swag.
About a little swag, you know what I'm saying? Get a little, hey,
Frank Moran. Is that how you say it? Moran.
James White.
Frank, walk me through this.
Another fan leaguer is being selected in the second round.
You know, it's been a long time since January in the draft where I got picked in the second round.
If you weren't following the fan leagues, it was like the first time they ever heard the name. People were like, who?
I was a number 2 pick with what felt like a weight of an entire faction on my shoulder. But I had 2 guardian angels.
Brandon Hanna has been traded. Brandon Hanna is leaving the den. He has been traded for James White.
I stole those goods up and gave away some toxic waste in exchange.
the second round pick named James White is taking on a man named Bam Bam.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Oh, wow. Frank and Lon really playing well here.
Nice little run in the 2018 free-for-all. I thought my time was over. But then just before the trade deadline hits, Winston calls me up and says, buddy, you've got untapped potential. I've got a plan, and you were a big part of it.
Winston, there was just a couple things that he said that really kind of struck home to me.
It clicked. It was like peanut butter and jelly. Boom, boom, yes. Frank Moran, he's no pushover. He knows his stuff. He's in the business. But I've got to play my game and come out of here with a victory.
People probably feel like he's got a lot to prove. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But there's a reason we call him the Wizard.
You never know. Maybe we'll make some magic happen.
Good luck to you, Mr. White. Because it looks like Bam Bam is going to have his way with you. Bam Bam. Wilma.
Jamesy, I'm gonna let you borrow my son's wand from Ollivanders. We're down low piece to work. Moranius, Defeatius, something like that.
I've got to get my spot in that singles tournament. But the only way to do that is to win this play-in match. So, James White, much love to you, buddy. But Bam Bam is here to make sure you get knocked out, and that slot is mine.
Look, and it's the same story, Mark. It's the fact that, to no fault of his own, James White got plucked out of obscurity, and then all this big spotlight was put on him. And then in the second round, out of all the picks, he was picked in the second round. That is a lot of pressure. Now, maybe it's not fair pressure, but it is. It's quite, because now the fans are like, why was he picked so high? How good is this guy? And then Frank Moran is coming in maybe with nothing to lose, because, like I said, there's only a few people who are even talking about him. But nonetheless, we could see a great scrap here. It's always about finding the next great star in the Schmoedown, and we could be looking at two of the greats right now. We don't know.
And we already have great stars that we know are going to be on this show because of their managers. And Christian, the role of a manager does change when you go to the singles league, because you look at what you can do in Intergeekdom, and it's a very specific set of movies that you're going to be studying with this. This could be any movie, including maybe an Intergeekdom movie ever made. And so it's a wide breadth. How have these guys been preparing? Are they ready for the white hot spotlight? In addition to all the knowledge they're going to have to display, it's a whole lot of questions, and I just hope we get an answer, possibly with an exclamation point.
Well, we're probably going to get answers for sure in just a little bit here, because someone who's been a front runner for already in this early season for Manager of the Year, the way that the fans have just flocked to him and seen what he's done with all his players, is the manager of Swag, Winston Marshall. As we also bring in, I think you can call her everybody's arch nemesis, Grace Hancock and Kate, the den mother, Mulligan.
Just wipe yourself and grab a popsicle.
The den mother, drip, Grace Hancock, Ryan King. Look,
Right,
guys, this is even though we're dealing with two virtual unknowns here, this is a big match. I'm going to start with Grace. Grace, we always know that you have your hands in everything. You always have some. Second, you joined this league. How much were you involved with getting rid of Brandon Hanna and getting James White and seeing what this kid can do?
Well, first of all, when you say Brendan Hanna, I'm like, who? It's like I have to remember. I can't really remember much about that. But here's what I will say. I'm thrilled to have a wizard on the team, and I'm also thrilled to finally be working with a woman who has my back, unlike a lot of the other people that I've worked with in this show. And having Kate in charge of things when I'm being Cersei in the background has given me a peace of mind I have never experienced doing this. So I'm thrilled.
Listen, you just deemed it yourself. I don't know. I'm mad at myself that I'd ever called you Cersei Lannister. It's so perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Den Mother, let's talk a little bit more about this James White thing. I see you in the chat room. You said there's no pressure. We're having fun. I don't know how true that is. I think there's a lot of pressure here, and I think you know how much pressure.
Hey, Christian!
Just saying.
It says private chat. It says private. Does it say Christian? Read this out loud. No.
Fair enough. Kate, how are you feeling about James White? How
I'll
good?
tell you what. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll answer the question in the private chat, then you can read it. How about that?
How good is James White? Give me an answer.
There's a wizard. Are you kidding me? I tricked that whole scenario. I pretended like I didn't know who James White was. I knew who he was. I hung out with him the whole draft night. I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is a good trade. I'm really going to hate to lose Brandon Hanna for the best singles player to hit the league this year.
Wow, all right.
Anyway.
So I guess he is pretty good, Mark.
Yeah, Christian, I haven't seen anyone devour a cheeseburger that voraciously since Tony Stark got out of a cave in Afghanistan. So I'm going to move over to Winston Marshall now. Winston, when you look at the landscape, not only of where your faction is currently in the standings, but you also look at the fact that not only are you managing somebody who doesn't really have a lot of experience, you're also going against somebody who's inexperienced. Is it more personality-based? Is it more relaxed? Is it more handle the pressure? Or are you just giving him study tactics? What is the play here from a managerial standpoint?
Sorry, I picked this up from Ace. You gotta hydrate before you kick everybody's ass. First off, spoiler alert, Cersei Lannister dies. Second of all, Kate, be careful. I know that you are aging gracefully like a black lady, but those burgers will go straight to your heart, trust me. Third of all, I mean, the biggest thing that you want to do is, like, you look at somebody, you see the potential, and you lean into it, you know what I'm saying? Like, me and Frank instantly hit it off, because he started telling me some of his favorite movies, and I was like, bruh, you're like my brother from another mother, just less melanin. I'm sorry, I've been running a lot, like, I got a dog now. Me and Sherry be running out here just getting ready to, just run over people, so just a little winded, sorry.
All right, let's play a match. It's massive, as we know. Winston, last thing before we let you both all you guys here. Last question for all of you. Winston, you're now playing a little catch up with corruption and the Fence Stock Exchange. Big match to try to get into this tournament. Same with the Den. You guys are a little bit farther back now. As far as singles and teams, you're certainly not out of it. The heavy hitters that you have. But is this a do or die situation here? We'll start with a real quick race. Do you think this is something you guys need, or you got the ammo, you can make it work regardless?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is very important, and I think that's why Winston is sweating so much, as he should be.
Yeah, I know he's not sweating from cleaning his apartment.
At least I know how to decorate. What the hell is going on in that room?
This is where I lock my kids when they're mad.
Well, that's exactly why you're going to lose. You can't be locking people up. You know what? We learned that 400 years ago. You don't do that. We wrote a whole law that you don't do that no more. That's the first thing. Second thing, here's the thing. No, it's not do or die, and I told Frank that over and over again for a couple of reasons. The first is, I don't need my boy to have all this pressure. He's playing with house money. James White is in the second round. My boy Frank came in through the free agency, so I told him, come in here, have fun, like the Swag Squad does, and then once he gets this dub, then we can have fun beating Bibiani, and then we can just keep on rolling. But ain't no pressure, baby. Just have fun.
Or the Barbarian. That match
Or the Barbarian. You're right. Or the Barbarian.
That's a spoiler. It hasn't taped yet. We have not taped it.
I mean, that's fair. I just assume Bibiani is going to win because, it's Bibbs.
Yeah, we'll see. Either way, that's the match at hand. Thank you to both Grace and the Den Mother. We're going to put you in the waiting room at the moment here. Thank you so much. And Winston Marshall, manager of Swag. They're ready. All of them have been very involved. They've been ready. It means a lot. Grace does not like to lose. Has been one of those managers that has gotten very involved with her team, and we know what Winston's done. So, Mark, it's going to be something.
Yeah, I just hope I can get through the rules of round number 1 before one of them issues a challenge, because Christian, they're hot, they're ready. This is a play-in match, and they're treating it like the Super Bowl, and I gotta say, I don't blame them, because a lot could be riding on either one of these competitors. We don't know how far they can make it. We're about to find out.
All right, so if you're ready, I'm ready. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the movie trivia Schmoedown.
Yeah!
Introducing first, representing Swag, making his Schmoedown singles debut. He is Frank Bam Bam Moran. Frank Bam Bam Moran. Dude, it's crazy to see. It's good to see you back, my man. I told you many times offline that I couldn't believe that you weren't drafted in that initial draft, and then I know you were courted by a couple of different managers in the off season. Why Swag, and are you happy with the decision, obviously, and what it has been working with Winston been like thus far?
You know, it's the heart wants Christian. Winston gave me a call, and man, it was clicked. He said it himself. We just clicked. I felt loved. I felt embraced. I felt I was kind of on the outs from the Schmoedown. So it was great to have a chance to have somebody see my potential, say, come in here, we coach you up, get you out there, and have you do great things.
Yeah, Frank, in the history of people who shared a similar nickname, you have Ray Boom Boom Mancini, a famous boxer who actually killed someone in the ring. You also have Bam Bam, the little tyke from the Flintstones. So it appears we're going to have some intellectual violence taking place here today. I see a library of what appears to be Blu-rays and steelbooks behind you. What has your preparation been like? Are you watching movies left and right, or is it just, hey, I already know this stuff, I don't have to worry?
I would say a combination thereof. I mean, you want to do some prep always, because if you just rely on your base knowledge, you're gonna get slow. You got to keep learning. Like everything else, you got to keep learning. So I've been relying on my base knowledge, but then taking Winston's advice and doing some watching to beef up in weak areas.
Frank, before we bring in your opponent here, a question about your opponent. There's been a lot of hype on James White, and obviously going second, the first pick in the second round of the draft. Have you watched any of his matches? Do you know anything about him, or are you just ready to see what this kid brings like the rest of us?
I watched a couple of his fan matches, and I admire his facial hair. I've tried growing this thing out. Maybe trying to see if that was going to be something that was holding me back from the Schmoedown. People said they needed to see me in facial hair. Thought I'd give that a look. It's not going well. I admire James for that. So, win or lose, I'm hoping just to pick up some grooming tips.
I think this looks nice. That's a nice hair.
All right, well, we're going to we'll put you in the waiting room here while we bring in the wizard. Hold on one sec. And his opponent, representing the dead, making his Schmoedown debut. He is James the Wizard White. James the Wizard White. James, finally getting to be here, my man. I know that it's been a struggle for you, like a lot of people out here. You were scheduled, some people know this, some people don't. You were scheduled for an in-studio match. You flew out here, you were sleeping on couches because you were ready for your first match. It was taken away from you. Were you shocked when the Den, A, traded for you, and B, put you in the tournament?
Yeah, when the trade went down, yeah, it was definitely surprising, but I couldn't have asked for a better situation. We all know that the Burning Droogs is a dumpster fire, and for Grace and for Kate to come and rescue me from that, it's just, I have all the appreciation in the world. I cannot ask for a better situation to be in than to be in the Den.
So while your opponent's nickname is Bam Bam, you are the Wizard and living on the legacy of the great Ozzie Smith. I know you're a big baseball fan, so if you had to compare your skill set in the movie trivia Schmoedown to a famous Baltimore Oriole of years past, who would you compare yourself to and why?
I'm going Cal. Cal's always been my guy. Cal Ripken Jr., he was just always there, work ethic. He's going to give you what he's got every single day. He doesn't take any days off, literally. 2,632 straight days. So that's what I'm putting into this. I'm watching movies every single day. I'm always trying to get better.
That's a point, Christian. The kid got Cal's number right. That's a point.
All right, note to self, no Kevin Costner movies. All right, so we will...
Hey,
What?
Below the line.
What happened? So we're going to put
Below the line.
I didn't know anything. All right, we're going to put you in the... actually, bring back your opponent here, Mr. Bam Bam, and there's James White. All right, gentlemen, you are in the room. And now we start rules. Round number 1. Mark, how's it go?
Round number 1 of the movie trivia Schmoedown. This is the singles league tournament, and it's the play-in game. And so in round number 1, you're going to have 8 questions from 8 different corners of movie trivia Schmoedown. Know how each question is worth 1 point. There is no penalty for missing a question. There is no stealing, at least not in round number 1. Wink, wink. As soon as we ask you the question, you have about 15 seconds to write down your best attempt at an answer with whatever utensil you have on whatever whiteboard surface you have provided for yourself. Once we ask you by name or nickname, you're going to show what you wrote to the camera at the same time you verbalize your answer into the microphone. I'll remind each competitor you have 3 usages of the JTE rule throughout the duration of the 3-round match, named for famous Wisconsin cheesemaker JTE. If you're not sure you heard a question right, you want to buy yourself another 15 seconds to get that correct answer, use the JTE rule. You also each have 1 challenge to be used at any point by your managers at any point throughout the 3-round contest. You may initiate the challenge, but it must be ratified and confirmed by your manager. Christian, look at these game faces. Look at these spectacles. Look at these beards. It's like they're looking into a mirror.
Gordon, the tournaments this year, this is probably the most important tournament we've ever done, and it's to find out who gets to play in the big dance. All right, gentlemen, we start with...
My reflection is much more handsome, I will say that.
It's true. James, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Frank, are you ready?
Absolutely.
Then let's get ready to Schmoedown! Round number 1, question number 1. The first question comes in the realm of action-adventure. Charlie Sheen plays Aramis in which 1993 Disney adventure film?
Christian, where were you in 1993? I think I know the answer.
New York.
You were walking out of the movie Bushwhacked.
Oh, that was afterwards, but close. 5,
3 Musketeers.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down, please. Pens down. We'll start with James.
The Three Musketeers.
That's it. Frank?
I had a little line. It was a line right there. It was nice.
Little
There
line.
we go.
Yeah, but close enough.
Yeah, sure. So it was a sword, right?
Yep. Next question.
All right, so we'll pick it up with your next category, and that is movies in the 1980s, the greatest decade of all time for any reason. Your question, who directed 1981's Time Bandits? You ever catch this one? K-Dog?
Yeah, a lot of people not into doing a remake of this, but a show would be good. 5, 4,
Agreed.
3,
Steve
2,
McQueen.
1. Pens down. No, pens down. Pens down. Hands up. Pens down. Hands up.
Yeah.
And that's so. We start with Frank.
Terry Gilliam?
Yes, and James.
Not gonna pull it.
Didn't have it. All right. So, guys, just a reminder to you both. After you're done writing, we got to have your hands up like this the entire time. That was not told to you beforehand.
Hands up.
No. All right. Question number 3. We're tied at 1. Tied at 1. Here we go. Dramas. Which actor plays Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss in The Social Network?
It's like that football drill you always see where, like, they get their high knees and then they gotta hit their
Army
helmet. I
hammer.
never understood the touching the head part of that, but I never played tackle football.
That's fair.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Could have been.
1. Pens down, please, and we start with James.
Army Hammer.
Yes, Frank.
Army Hammer.
2-2. All right. Next question, Mark.
All right, move on to the category of new releases, movies that are recently in I don't even know. Anyway, who plays the villainous Dr. Eggman in the 2020 theatrical release Sonic the Hedgehog? I guess we did get some movie. I don't know what we're
Jim
doing with the
Carrey.
Oscars this year, though. That's going to be.
It's like I'm looking forward to seeing how they decide to do it.
Welcome to the Oscars, hosted by Christian and Martin on StreamYard.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down, please, Frank.
Jim Carrey.
Yes, and James.
Sadly, one of the last movies I saw in theaters, Jim Carrey.
Carey, there we go. 3-3. Next question. This is question number 5. Fantasy sci-fi. Sylvester Stallone, Rob Schneider, Diane Lane and Max von Sydow appear in which 1995 sci-fi film?
Woo, that's a golf foursome, ain't it?
Judge Dredd.
Hey, Sly, making copies.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down, please. James.
Demolition Man?
That's incorrect. Frank?
Judge Dredd?
That is correct. Frank Moran goes up by 1 point here as we see a 4-3 lead by Bam Bam as we get into our next question.
That's right, and that is in the category of, I've been waiting for this sound, comedies. Nerd Chronic can put that in post, I hope. Your question, who plays Jenko, a slow-witted yet handsome cop in 2012's 21 Jump Street? Christian, I don't know about you, I love what the writers did with that last question because they were hoping somebody was just going to write
Channing
Dredd
Tatum.
and not Judge Dredd.
Of course. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down, please. And we start with Frank.
Channing Tatum?
Yes. And James?
Channing Tatum.
That's correct. Frank Moran keeps his 1 point lead here as we get into our next question, which is horror/thriller. Which 2018 film is a spin-off of the Conjuring franchise? Stars Damien Bichir and Tassa Farmiga.
I like this. I like that universe. I just want a new one of those.
I don't really like a lot of them, but I still, strangely enough, look forward to seeing them. 5, 4, doesn't make sense. 3,
The Wit?
No, it doesn't.
2, 1. Pens down, please. And James.
Curse of La Llorona?
It's incorrect. Frank?
I love Verona. There you go.
Looking for the nun.
The Nun! Shit, not the
The other
Witch,
one.
the Nun!
Yes, the other one. All right. So far, 5-4 as we get to our last question. Question number 8 here. Final question around number 1, Mark.
That is correct. This is in the category of animated movies. They're drawn by hand or on a computer. And your question for 1 point. Christopher Lloyd voices the evil Rasputin in what 1997 animated film? And I can talk about the greatness of Christopher Lloyd all day. You have the floor, Christian. No, I know you're having fun on Instagram.
Oh.
I wasn't asking for an impression.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Hunchback
1.
of
Pens
Notre
down,
Dame?
please. Frank.
Anastasia?
That is correct. And James.
Have it.
Didn't have it. It's Frank Moran going up by 2. Frank Moran goes up by 2. We see ourselves 6-4 as we get into round number 2. Here we go, bringing in the den. And Nerd Chronic shaking his head, and he does not like to do beeps, but there he had to do one. All right, so Mark, the managers have unfortunately come in, and now it's time for you to read the rules of round number 2. Sorry, unfortunately Winston came in and cursed. All right, next.
In round number 2, still no swearing, but we do encourage the eating of any sort of fast food item you may have at your ready. Round number 2 is going to feature 4 questions. How do we get those questions? Well, you're going to spin the wheel of fate, doom, and ultimately justice. Once you settle on a category, that's where the 4 questions come from. Each question is worth 2 points. No penalty for missing a question, but remember when I winked in round number 1, there is stealing available in round number 2. So if you're not sure of the answer, might want to ask us for multiple choice. We'll give you 4 options, one of which is the correct answer. At that point, the value of the question goes down to a mere 1 point, but still better than getting it stolen. So, Christian, back to you. These guys look focused, they're ready, they're battle tested, at least in 1 round, and they're starting to sweat.
Yeah, we're going to drop out both Kate and James here at the moment because Frank and Winston, you got 60 seconds to discuss with Frank whether or not he wants to spin first or second, starting now.
First of all, I'd like to apologize to my mom and for cousin. I was like I got hit with a chancla. That hurt a lot. So that's the first thing. Second of all, James. I mean, not James, Frank. I said James. You know why I said James? Because you're kicking James's butt. And that's what I love about it. Frank, real talk though, dude, you are killing it. There's a couple things to remember. First of all, do not forget you have all your JTs And going into round 2, do not forget multiple choice. If you run up and you're not quite sure, you hit that multiple choice and do the dang thing. Other than that, man, let's go out here and
All right.
You want to go first? You want to go first? All right, so we're going to go first, and here's the wheel, and here's the spin.
All these beautiful. Is that an SNL wedge I see?
We're going to see prices this year for the writers that were working hard here, and we see hard. You want to get 60 more seconds, 50 seconds here if you want to keep it. Spin again. Here's the 60 now.
I mean, it's up to you, brother. We know the stuff that we want to do. It's up to you about if you feel good about this. That sounds like a no. I think you should respin.
Let's respin it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Francis McDormand. I'm gonna weep openly. So we'll see.
And
You do understand that you're not supposed to talk when the wheel's spinning because you literally manifest that. That's okay, man. That's okay.
All right, baby. All right.
all right, well, so Francis McDormand it is. All right, Winston gonna drop you out here. Bring in James White back. So, all right, Frank, you're gonna get 4 questions in the realm of Francis McDormand, the great Francis McDormand. Here you go. First question, Frank, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Francis McDormand plays Police Chief Marge Gunderson in what film?
Fargo.
Correct, for 2 points. All right. Francis McDormand played Miss Clavel, a nun who teaches at a school for girls in which 90s family film?
Multiple choice.
Is it A, A Little Princess, B, Madeline, C, Matilda, D, Harriet the Spy?
Madeline?
I will go with Madeline.
That's correct for 1 point. All right. Which Batman actor plays Francis McDormand's son in the 2002 drama Laurel Canyon?
Christian Bale?
Multiple choice.
Is it A, Christian Bale, B, Ben Affleck, C, Will Arnett, D, Robert Pattinson?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
For 1 more point. And finally, Francis McDormand plays Elaine Miller, who's the mother of teenager William Miller in what 2000 drama film?
Multiple choice.
Is it A, Detroit Rock City, B, Rockstar, C, Almost Famous,
Almost
D,
Famous.
Outside Providence?
Almost Famous.
I'll go Detroit Rock City.
It's incorrect. The question here, James, Francis McDormand plays Elaine Miller in the mother of teenager William Miller in what 2000 drama film? Is
Famous.
A, Detroit Rock City, B, Rockstar, C, Almost Famous, D, Outside Providence?
Almost Famous.
For 1 point, steal. 1 point steal. James White gets himself a much-needed point there as we find ourselves 10-5. Frank Moran having to go to multiple choice, yet still picking himself up a total of, I believe, 4 points. So, here we're going to drop you out here, Frank. Bring in Kate. Kate, you got 60 seconds to talk to James starting now.
Let me tell you something. The first round has never meant anything ever, okay? We're good. The only thing the first round affects is your mental state. You're doing good. I'm proud of you. Those questions were hard. I got 0 correct. So I'm glad you're playing instead of me. Let's do this, baby. Let's do this. This is where we make up the difference.
It's all good. I should have had 2 extra points in round 1. We're good.
All right, here's the wheel. Here's the wheel, and it is ready to go. Here's the spin.
All right, look at this thing go around and I like those Francis McDormand questions. I like those movies, as a matter of fact.
And comic book movies. Comic book movies. So here's 60 seconds to decide, starting now.
There's better things on the wheel. There's worse things on the wheel. So what do you think?
I'm comfortable enough with it, but I think that there's some better things out there. Let's spin it again.
Let's spin it again, baby. Let's do it.
All right, here it is.
Wayne Johnson sliced. I think I'm in Toys R Us and they just released all these new toys.
Nora Ephron. All right, so Nora Ephron it is.
Great.
And we're going to remove Kate here. We're going to bring back Frank. And James is here. All right, James, you're going to get, Mark's going to ask you 4 questions in the realm of Nora Ephron.
All right, a reminder to both James and Frank, the entire duration of this round, just try to keep your hands where we can see them, just to make sure there's no tomfoolery going on with you ne'er-do-wells. Your first question, James, for 2 points, in the world of Nora Ephron. Which actress plays Meg Ryan's best friend Marie in the Nora Ephron penned
Carrie
movie
Fisher.
When Harry Met Sally?
Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher.
Multiple choice.
Is it A, Laura Dern, B, Prunella August, C, Carrie Fisher, or D, Caroline
Carrie
Blaster?
Fisher.
It's Carrie Fisher.
The princess, she's here. That's 1 point. All right. We're now within 4 of the lead for James White. Your next question. In Nora Ephron movies, what actor plays Uncle Arthur in Bewitched?
I don't know anybody besides Will Ferrell and Nicole Kidman. Haven't seen the movie.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Multiple choice.
Multiple choice it is. Is it A, Will Ferrell, B, Jason Schwartzman, C, Richard Kind, or D, Steve
Richard
Carell?
Kind.
Richard Kind.
That is incorrect. I'm going to give the options again for Frank Moran. What actor plays Uncle Arthur in Bewitched? Is it A, Will Ferrell, C, B, Jason Schwartzman, C, Richard Kind, or D, Steve
Jason
Carell?
Schwartzman?
D, Steve Carell.
That is a big 1-point steal, Christian.
Yeah, he got his point back that he lost there, that previous steal. So we're going to get our next question here marked to James.
Back to a 5-point game. No threat of James tying the lead going into round number 3, but he can still get 4 more points. So James, for 2 points, the world of Nora Ephron. Nora Ephron directed which 1993 romantic film which ends with a scene on the Empire State Building?
Sleepless in
Seattle.
It's not King Kong. It is actually Sleepless in Seattle. That is 2 big points for James.
2 big points.
To your last question. This can pull you to within a point of Bam Bam's lead going into round number 3. Your question. Who plays Walter, Annie's fiancé, in Sleepless in Seattle?
Greg Kinnear.
That is incorrect for a 2-point steal.
Shit.
Frank Moran, who plays Walter, Annie's fiancé, in Sleepless in Seattle.
Bill Pullman.
That's a huge steal.
Bill
Bam
Pullman.
Bam. That's why they call him Bam Bam.
Massive. He sees himself up now by 5 points going into round number 3. Gonna bring in
Yes.
Ben and
You know who's happy about that? Sure, he's happy. I heard you can't see her. Come on. Oh.
round number 3. Mark, how does it go?
Round number 3. This is the round that will determine the match. Lest we go to sudden death overtime. And what better way to kick off the tournament than that? But we move to 3 numbers. These numbers are going to be determined by the competitors themselves. Any 3 numbers you like from 1 to 20. Why do we need numbers? Well, because they correspond to a different corner of movie trivia Schmoedown know-how. Your first number is your 2-point question. Your second number is going to be your 3-point question. That last number is going to correspond to your 5-point question category. Because Frank Moran, Bam Bam, is in the lead by 5, 13 to 8. He's going to give us his 3 preferred numbers from 1 to 20 first, and then James will follow suit. So, Frank, from 1 to 20, what feels lucky?
I'll do 5, 10, and 15. Let's go by 5s today.
5, 10, 15 for Bam Bam, and for James?
Let's go 12, 2, and 8.
12, 2, and 8 for James. All right, Winston, start with you here. You got 60 seconds to talk to Frank. Starting now.
Dude, first of all, 2 massive steals. Well done, dude. Frank, you are killing it. There's a reason why they call you Bam Bam Baby. Second of all, it's funny because when that Carrie Fisher answer came up, I was like, we practiced that. I knew that answer. I don't know anything. So that's amazing. But going through, same thing. You have all your JTs. Take a deep breath. Do not rush yourself. Just do what you do best. You've been killing it. Let's keep going, man.
All right, thank you. And Kate, you got 60 seconds starting now.
James, I feel like you're getting shaken. Don't let Winston and Short shake you, okay? It's just a normal thing, okay? Listen, you're doing great. Is this your first match? Sure is. Don't even look at him right now, James. Just stay focusing on me. Don't look at his legs. Don't look at his legs. Don't look at his legs. He's tempting us. Listen, buddy, I know you know what you're. Just loosen up. You got this. This is where the winner gets made, right here, round 3. You got this. This is not an unbeatable lead. You got this, baby.
Look at that calf. You know you want to look at it.
Don't get pulled into the trance. Eye contact.
Let the poor guys play the game. All right, James White is going to go first. He chose category number 12, and that is sports movies. Sports movies, James, for your 2-pointer. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Jake Gyllenhaal plays a championship boxer in this 2015 film.
Southpaw.
Correct for 2 points.
Love that movie.
Within 3 points. So to tie the game here, James, your next question comes in the realm of Denzel Washington films. For your 3-pointer, here you go. What future 2-time Academy Award nominee plays linebacker Alan Bosley in Schmoedown favorite Remember the Titans?
He was also in Sons of Anarchy. What is his name?
Ryan Gosling.
For 3 points, James White has tied the game and avoided the TKO. So now we bounce back to Frank Moran, who chose category number 5.
Yes, he did, Christian. He went 5, 10, 15, just like Dollar Bills, except for 15, of course. And he has selected coming-of-age movies for his 2-point question to give him a possible 2-point lead. And so, Bam Bam, your question for the lead. In what 1973 George Lucas film can you find the stars Ron Howard, Harrison Ford, and Richard Dreyfuss?
American Graffiti.
It's an all-time great, and now Bam Bam, who could be an all-time great one day, is back up by 2. Christian, Frank has made James have to answer this next question.
That's right. James White needs to hit his 5 in order to bounce it back to Frank Moran and give himself 18 points here should he hit this. James, you chose category number 8. It's the world of animated. The world of animated films. Here we go. All right, 5-point question, James. Who voices Sally, Jack's love interest, in The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Michelle Pfeiffer?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, you got it just in time. Who voices Sally, Jack's love interest, in The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Five, 4, 3, 2. Second one. Who voices Sally, Jack's love interest, in The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
5, 4, 3.
Repeat.
Last one. Who voices Sally, Jack's love interest, in The Nightmare Before Christmas?
It all comes down to this, Christian.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Catherine O'Hara.
That's correct. James White, using all of his JTE rules, hits it. What a moment there by James White, staying alive and pushes Frank to win the game. He's got to tie it here with his 3-pointer. Big hit by James White there, Mark.
That's right, Christian. I mean, you talk about bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, full count, and now we might even have extra innings. Let's see how Frank Bam Bam Moran does when he's trailing in the match. Been a while since that's been happening. Frank, you selected category number 10 for your 3-point question, and that corresponds to the noble category of Oscar. These are Oscar movie questions. And for 3 points, to tie, James White, your question. Jennifer Lawrence won an Oscar for Best Actress for Silver Linings Playbook. Name 2 of the other films she has been nominated for.
Joy, American Hustle, Lovely Bones.
5, 4, 3.
I'll review the question.
First one.
Okay. Jennifer Lawrence won an Oscar for Best Actress for Silver Linings Playbook. Name 2 of the other films she has been nominated for.
Joy, American Hustle, Lovely Bones. I think that's it.
5,
I think that's
5,
it.
4, 3, 2, 1. Nothing. All right.
I can pull it.
Couldn't have it. So now,
Have Joy, Winter's Bone, American Hustle, any of those?
Winter's
so
Bone,
now
Lovely Bones.
Frank Moran is in a place where he needs to hit his 5. James White has avoided the TKO and positioned himself in a place to win the game should Frank Moran miss. However, if Frank hits the 5-pointer, then Frank will take the victory and play the winner of William Bibiani and the Barbarian Mark 5-pointer.
That's right, Christian. And if Bam Bam wants to win, he's going to have to tackle the wild, wonderful, magical world of, maybe it's open now, Disney. For 5 points. And your question in the category of Disney films for the win. Bam Bam, in 2009's The Princess and the Frog, what is the name of Tiana's restaurant at the end of the film?
Tiana's House of Pancakes.
5, 4, 3,
I'll repeat.
2. Second one.
All right. Your question in the world of Disney movies. In 2009's The Princess and the Frog, what is the name of Tiana's restaurant at the end of the film?
Five, 4, 3, 2.
Creole Kitchen.
And your winner, James the White. What a comeback! What a comeback! Could be of the year. Gotta put Frank in the waiting room of the moment. Back in, yeah, sorry, Tiana's Palace. Tiana's Palace. Tiana's Palace was the answer. All right, holy moly, did he ever work for this one? He uses all 3. Jason Rules pulls Captain O'Hara from out of nowhere. Did you think it was over?
Well, I'd just like to read a little bit from our private chat. I said JTE as many times as you need. You got this, Oh, did you want to do that or should I? Okay, well, I guess I'll do it.
Go ahead.
There was a part where you said you couldn't hear the wheel sound. You know, it's a lot of fun in the private chat. I'm proud of this kid. Listen, I think we probably both, our blood pressure wishes that it went better sooner in the game. Okay, but I'll tell you what, I am proud of this guy. I am proud that he's part of the den, and I gotta tell you, this is one for the record books.
This was a big one. I mean, James, I could see it in your face, my man. You were beating yourself up in that first round. Second round, maybe you didn't go the way you wanted to, and you were on the verge of a TKO loss. And you pulled that Catherine O'Hara using all 3. Were you confident in the Catherine O'Hara pull at the end there?
Catherine O'Hara came to mind immediately, but I know she also did another character in that movie, so I was just wanting to just keep thinking if I could pull anybody else. Was I misreading it? So I just used up everything that I had. That's why you save the JTEs when you need them. So I just made sure that I reiterated in my head over and over again, all right, I'm pretty sure it's her, I can't think of anybody else. And then when you said correct, it's just elation. I performed really poorly in round one. That's a fact. I don't know whether, I'm sure it was probably nerves, playing my first match with, you guys on screen and all. It just kind of shook me a little bit, and round two didn't go the way I wanted to with the wheel. But to be able to run through round three and pull this out, and it just feels amazing, especially to get points for my faction.
Hey, James, we talked pre-show about our shared baseball fan. We had no idea it was going to come down to a dramatic Game 7 World Series type moment. So when baseball players strike out, they get a couple innings to think about it, to stew on it, to emotionally recover. You don't get that luxury. So like you said, you had a pretty tough round number one and round number two. How were you able to get it all back together to have that performance we just witnessed in round three?
Look, I mean, this tournament's do or die, and this match is do or die for my season. If I don't win this match, I don't get to play again, and I'll be just, another person that got drafted, and you never really hear from them again. So I didn't want that to happen, so I had to, collect myself and make sure that I just trusted that I know what I'm doing. I know movies, I just didn't do as well as I should have in the first two rounds. So I had to just trust myself and get as many points as I possibly could, one question at a time.
James, Frank came to play. Obviously, he was scrapping, going back and forth with you. Did you think it was over at any point, or did you stick in there and say, no, I could win this?
No, I can't ever think that it's over. Once you think it's over, it is over.
Yeah.
So after round one, I didn't get what I needed to do in round two to get myself there, but I knew that I was within striking distance. He got a couple steals there that really hurt, but I knew I was only 5 points down. If I do my business, I make him do his.
Well, there was a lot of back and forth about James's nickname, but I think the Wizard is appropriate because he needed magic here today to pull this one out, and he did it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match today, James the Wizard White of the Den. Congratulations to James, and congratulations to Den. We'll see you in the tournament, James.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And also, Mark, was it great to see your face while on someone else during a tournament? You know what I'm saying? They have the same face. Look it up. Bye.
Thank you, Kate. All right, now we're going to bring in, I'm sure, Winston Marshall, Frank Moran. Bam Bam, you had it. It was at the tip there. It just slipped away at the end there. Were you surprised at that Catherine O'Hara pull there, Frank?
It was beautiful. I mean, my heart was racing at the end of it. I was like, I was tasting a chance of to see what Schmoedown victory would be like. And James came in and just clutched it out at the end. So, broke my heart.
Winston, look, this is something that, I could see. It felt like those kind of days of during the Ace tournament where, we're doing it. And the Wizard pulls out that moment. Were you pretty shocked at the end there, Winston?
I mean, Ace had the force, and today James had actual magic. I guess it was painful for a couple reasons. I take fault in, first of all, we are taping this at a much earlier time during the day. During the tournament, it's like 3, so I'm already drinking. I wasn't drinking; I was drinking water. That's my fault. I take that L. I also, just from the standpoint of I was sitting here and I was just trying to will it, and I know how hard we've been working and stuff like that. And Frank played an incredible match, man. He was stealing points and blowing through stuff and didn't get faltered, didn't feel me faltering at all. And this is just rough. People pulled that 5-pointer out. Now I know how all them other factions feel when Ace did that, like you said, man. Dang, Ace used to do that. Oh man, now I know how y'all feel. That's rough.
Yeah, well, it's only the rule for managers. Announcers can drink whenever they want. Frank, we talked about, you didn't think your beard was living up to what it could be. Your beard looks great, and your game looked really impressive as well. I got to ask you specifically about that round 3 3-point question. You had another JTE rule, and it seemed like you wanted to save it in case the 5-pointer gave you trouble. But were the Jennifer Lawrence movies, were they right there on the tip of your tongue?
I was only thinking of one, and I couldn't quite think of American Hustle, and I was struggling on the other two. So that's why I wanted to save the JTE for the 5-point question, because I was just like, well, I gotta have a little safety net on that one as well, because I don't know what it's gonna be.
All right. Well, look, Winston. This is an unfortunate loss here, obviously, because Frank played so well, and you have a moment like that people are going to be talking about for a while. What James White did there was just a phenomenal third-round performance by James White, who kind of fought, scrapped, and clawed exactly what he needed to do here to get the victory. But this,
I had a phenomenally bad third-round performance. Let's give credit to that as well.
hey, it happens. But we'll see.
You see why I pick Bam Bam, man? That's what it is.
He's got that flag, and we're going to see him back. There's no doubt about it from the way he performed here today. But Winston, that it does mean that to call it what it is, that's one loss for Swag here, meaning that you only have 3 people left here in the tournament. So how much pressure now goes on the shoulders of the rest of the squad?
I mean, I said this a million times. I told Frank, and he knows this. There was no pressure here because, again, Frank signed with us mid-season. James was a second-round pick. There was a lot of pressure for that, and again, I give him credit. He pulled it out. The other 3, you gotta understand, they've been just clawing at the bit, just chomping at the bit to get at this. I mean, you want to see some delinquency? They gonna be some delinquency. You want to see some lightning in a bottle? Forget a bottle. We gonna blow the world up. And you want to know what time it is? It's prime time, baby. Prime time.
Talking about lightning, Lightning Liz Miller. You got both Paul Oyama and Lon Harris coming in. So Swag, long from done here. But thank you again, and congratulations, Frank, for a hell of a match here. Bam Bam Moran, we'll see you pretty soon. Thank you, guys. All right, so Mark, great play-in match. They both, look, this is the thing that I think I know that we're going to see. This was just a play-in match. This is what we're going to see. They are clawing for it, and James even said it himself that he was doing it. He was glad he got the win for his faction because the pressure was on him. The pressure was the fact that he was a second-round pick, and had he gone out on a TKO, he knows he would have heard it. If he went out in general, you have to give him credit. I know some people are going to go, oh, well, he didn't have the great of a first round. How many players do you see stick in the pocket like that and come back and say, okay, I'm almost TKO'd, but comes back and wins the match? Not even sudden death, wins it. You got to give the Wizard credit on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a baseball quote. It ain't over till it's over, and that's what we saw here today. And Christian, like you said, it's just a play-in match. Holy crap, what a tournament we have in front of us. Once we settle on the 32 competitors that will ultimately be bracketed, we got a quick 27 matches to look forward to. And if this is any harbinger of what's to come, boy, buckle your seatbelts, have an airbag, buy your computer, because it's going to be a bumpy ride and it's going to get nutty.
Well, here's the standings as they are right now. The Den picking up a big 2 points with that win by someone they traded for, James White, doing exactly what they hoped he would do, and he may have not done it in the fashion they wanted to do, but who cares? He got the win. He got the win, and it was a win indeed as he fights back and picks up those 2 points for the Den. So here is the schedule at the moment. These are the matches that you're going to see coming up here, and don't forget about all of the big events we have on the upcoming Fridays. Join the Patreon today, patreon.com/Schmoedown. If you join today at the $10 tier, you get all the pay-per-views. They just go right to you when we do them. Or you can go and you can purchase them single. You can go to the Schmoedownlive.com and you can get them today. So, Mark, I'm pretty excited about what's in store.
I mean, this is going to be one of the greatest tournaments, if not the greatest tournament we've ever done. And I say that full well knowing what we've already had this season. So we got dealt a big bucket of lemons with this year, with this pandemic, and the lemonade we're making, pretty damn delicious so far, partner.
Agreed, my man. So look, you're going to see a lot of us. So make sure if you're just tuning into this for the first time, please subscribe to the Schmoedown YouTube channel. You can also listen to this on audio. You can go to the Schmoedown feed, and not only will you get the matches, you'll get Schmoedown Backstage, hosted by Ben Bateman and John Roca, every Tuesday.
Well, it was an entertaining match, and it further validates what I've said for a long time in regards to anything. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. James didn't have a great start, but he finished strong. And he got the win. So commends to James on that. Frank, you're a fun, nice guy. You played well, but the ending, it didn't work out in your favor. But it's good to see you back. And James moves on. The Den gets some points. It's a fun match. Really happy for James. If you like my reactions, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Christopher Woodburn. You can find me on Twitter, ChrisWoodburn83, Facebook, Christopher Michael Woodburn. So until next time, Mr. Boy C-Dub, peace.